I've learned an interesting correlation between burnout and impact recently. It's so intriguing, so I do want to share with you this new concept before the new year. When you think about burnout, what do you picture in your head? Burnout is not just a state of physical exhaustion, but an inexplicable tiredness because you can't change much of the result, no matter how hard you've tried. People always have this misconception about burnout and see it as an overwhelming workload. But it's not just that. It is not the magnitude of the work, the amount of the work that leads to burnout. Rather, it is a positive and meaningful impact in one's efforts. We burn out because we have too little impact. Impact 这个概念中文的翻译我想了很久，其实翻译过来就是存在感。If you're new to this channel, my name is Laura. I talk a lot about economics and finance in the other channel, Fun for Mindset. But in this channel, we only talk about life purpose, mindset, psychology, and peace of mind. Your likes, your comments, and your subscription would mean the world to me for me to continue to work on this channel and keep sharing about my life and thoughts. So before I dive any deeper, let's picture this person. So Alex, a software engineer employed by a prestigious tech company. He works his job pretty diligently from 9 to 7-ish. He performs his duty very well, yet he still feels disconnected from the tangible results of his labor. So he feels like he's just this small part of a huge machine, kind of like working on an assembly line. So he does his job, he finishes his job, but he doesn't get to see how his work helps anyone or any visible feedback from the team. It's like building a puzzle, but not being able to see the whole picture that you're creating. So you tell me what is missing out. So you can see he's missing a purpose, or he's missing his impact to his career, to his company, or to his life. So Alex's job has become more routine and more, perfunctory, so as yours. Even though he held this pretty significant management role, he still felt like he was turning a crank through a bureaucratic slash. Well, even though his job performance was solid on the surface, but from the inside, his work felt empty. Like Alex, we all got stuck in this comfort zone for the better good, assuming that a more challenging job would prove too consuming and prevent us from having a healthy personal, work and life balance. So this burnout and impact concept is invented by Liz Westman. In her book, Impact Players, in her study, she talks about how important it is to feel like your work matters. So let's imagine you're doing something really cool, like creating a game that thousands of people will play. So you have a goal, you feel wired, you feel like a flow of work all the way towards the end. You feel the adrenaline, the excitement, right? That's because you see the impact of your work. But if you don't feel like your work is meaningful, you don't see a reward in exchange to your own labor, aka your work don't matter, your time don't matter, and a matter of fact, you don't matter. So personally, I relate to this concept a lot because as a content creator, as a writer, maybe I shouldn't really call myself a writer, but I got the audience's view result pretty quickly and cruelly, to be honest. Sometimes I understand it's not due to my poor quality lead to a poor viewing result. I understand it's not personal when I get a lot of haters and trash talks. Sometimes it's just a matter of luck or, trendy topic. But when you go to YouTube analytics, you see the poor numbers. It is hard to not question yourself, Usually at that moment, you don't give yourself the benefit of doubt, but the cruelty of the doubt. So how do we see our jobs more impactful? It really depends on what we value the most in life. So is your value defined by your bank account, your superior's feedback, family's recognition, good friendship? Honestly, I don't know. Just like life itself does not have a meaning, but you have to give it the meaning and purpose. The impact, that we value is sometimes how we call it. So let's say if the life purpose, the value of your life is truly the bank account numbers or your parent or aunties finally giving you a thumb up or recognition, ask yourself, what's next? Everyone craves impact. We all have our work to matter. But we ask people what is a work experience like when you're working hard, but yet you're still strangely underutilized. Someone may suck at their own work, but they're a good dad. Somebody may be a douchebag to his girlfriend, but he can still be a reliable coworker and an ally. And how we call it impactful is actually defined by ourselves. So I've been thinking about a pretty sad story. So I've been thinking, what happens if today is the last day of my life? If somebody really knows this is gonna be the last day of your life, How would I ever complain about getting stuck in the traffic when I can still see the view from the window, the beautiful raindrops, or rather just talk to the driver for some funny story or a funny joke? Why would I want to complain or call it boring when I can see the motorcycles passing by me, wondering, where they're heading to, what kind of life, what kind of family they're living? I would go to the nearest, night market, eat all the food I've been craving for. I'll play all the way working, eventually win myself a puffy puff animal. So if you really picture today as your last day in your life, all of your 6 senses will be all open up, and you can feel the beautiful of living, of just breathing, of seeing, the smelling, and the feeling. And you will realize your boring life is beautiful. Indeed, your boring life is beautiful and is envied by 100 million people. I know you feel kind of stuck at some point of your life. You're not really seeking for an escape trip from the city. You're just seeking for a purpose, an impact, and the puzzles you're working for and the whole picture of the puzzle that you've been working for, aka the impact, can only be defined by you and only you.